What's something people don't know about a simple 911 call? Sometimes it reveals more about power and prejudice than anyone expects. She thought her phone call would put a teenager in his place. A white woman, furious over nothing, dialed 911 claiming a young black teen was threatening her. But when officers arrived and tried to act on her lies, everyone froze, because the boy's mother showed up in uniform. Not just any uniform, the kind that instantly changes everything. This is the moment when power flipped, and justice walked onto the scene. Oak Ridge Heights, Ohio was a picture of suburban peace where families felt secure. But for 16-year-old Marcus Green, that peace felt different. He knew that in a place like Oak Ridge Heights, his presence alone could be seen as out of place. For Marcus, the feeling of being an outsider in his own home was a constant reminder that safety was not guaranteed for everyone. Inside one of the grand houses, Karen Whitfield watched Marcus Green walk down her street. She did not know him, only saw a young black man in a neighborhood where he did not seem to belong. Her mind raced, filling the void of the unknown with suspicion. With a trembling hand, she picked up her phone and dialed 911. Every word she spoke painted a picture of danger, transforming an innocent walk home into a potential crime in progress. The call was made, setting in motion a course she could no longer control. The silence of the evening was about to be broken by sirens. The serene quiet of Oak Ridge Heights was a comfort to its residents, a place where families felt safe and neighbors greeted each other with a smile. On most evenings the only sounds were the distant hum of crickets and the soft glow of porch lights flickering on as the sun set. But tonight, that peace was shattered by the sudden arrival of a police cruiser, its blue and red lights slicing through the darkness, casting an eerie glow over the familiar streets. Marcus, a young black man on his way home from a late shift, immediately stopped in his tracks, his hands raised and visible, just as his parents had always instructed him to do in situations like this. The officers approached him cautiously, explaining that they had received a call about a possible prowler in the area. Their voices were firm, their questions pointed, and the tension in the air was unmistakable. Marcus tried to keep his voice steady, his heart pounding in his chest, as he explained that he lived just a few blocks away and was simply walking home after work. Despite his calm explanation, he could feel the weight of suspicion pressing down on him. He was being treated like a criminal on his own street, in the neighborhood he called home. The officers searched the area thoroughly, their flashlights sweeping across lawns and driveways, but they found nothing out of the ordinary. Still, the questions continued, as if his presence alone was cause for concern. Marcus stood there feeling exposed and powerless as the flashing lights painted a scene of guilt for all his neighbors to see. In that moment, the quiet street he once felt safe on became a stage for suspicion and fear. Just as the questions from the officers grew more pointed, a car pulled up quietly to the curb, headlights cutting through the fading light. The tension in the air was almost tangible, as if everyone was holding their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Stepping out was Angela Green, Marcus's mother, and, notably, the city's chief of police. Her presence was commanding, her uniform crisp, and her eyes immediately searching for her son among the cluster of officers and flashing lights. She approached the officers with a calm authority. "Officers," she said, her voice steady but unmistakably firm, "is there a problem here?" The words hung in the air, carrying both the weight of her position and the concern of a mother. Angela's gaze sharpened as she looked from one officer to the next. Was this really about a prowler, or was it simply a teenager walking home from practice? Her question was more than rhetorical, it was a challenge to their assumptions. From her window across the street, Karen Whitfield had watched the entire scene unfold, her face a mix of concern and uncertainty.